Yo, YouTube, what is up? Welcome back to the Radar for Wrestling Studios.
What up, Mox?
Guys, Friday Night Smackdown just finished up. We only have one takeaway from a show that was pretty much just the go home. I mean, it was the go home, but it was pretty much just all build for the Royal Rumble this weekend. Not a ton to talk about. You know, everything's kind of set in stone right now. We had a lot of people jumping or coming over from Monday Night Raw because it's Royal Rumble time, and you know they love having those brawls with everybody in the Royal Rumble involved in the ring. So we got a lot of that here, but we get to get a big return coming into the Royal Rumble weekend that, you know, kind of throws a bit of a wrench into the Royal Rumble itself. Men's wise, yeah, because it is quite a big return size wise anyways, but we have a lot to get into. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video. We're gonna give you our full predictions for the Royal Rumble, the matches beforehand and the two Rumble matches. We'll give you that at the end of the video, so make sure you tune into the end. We'll get that, but let's get into it. Before we do it, you guys drop a like and a comment on this video. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, we'd love to hear your guys' comments, your feedback. Let's talk wrestling, whatever you guys think, how you feel going into the Royal Rumble on Sunday, and all that good stuff. We love hearing from the community and continue to grow. Subscribe if you're watching, not subscribe to the channel. Notification bell so you guys when those new videos drop. Social media, you know where to follow me on all those social platforms. Let's get right into it. One takeaway from Friday Night Smackdown. Smackdown started off with Daniel Bryan cutting another promo about the Royal Rumble again, and he put over again Chad Gable and Otis with the Alpha Academy, getting him into shape. Whatever, I don't know what to do about all that, but he gets interrupted by AJ Styles, a Raw superstar, who says, you know, it's part of the quarterly brand to brand invitational garbage that he's there. So they get into it. Obviously, you know, on Raw, if you want to claim to be in the Royal Rumble, you got to go through AJ Styles first, and that's kind of what went here. He wanted a final tune-up, so Bryan challenged him. AJ Styles accepted. You know, obviously he has Omos with him, so it's a big thing right there. So that's the main event. Styles, Daniel Bryan. That was a pretty solid promo though from both guys to start off the show.
I think Bryan did a great job of hyping it up and kind of putting everybody over, putting the Royal Rumble over, just getting everybody, just promoting it. It was a good job by him. Yeah,
he seems like he's just there like to put other people over, which makes sense.
Which is good, because that's where he should be at the point of career, just put guys over. He's done everything. He's had WrestleMania moments. Time to put the younger guys and guys that haven't had a chance to shine, you know, up the card.
That's why I don't agree when people say that he's gonna win or they choose him as a winner, because I think that he's just there to put guys over right now. So next thing on the show, we had Bianca Belair versus Bayley, and this is an interesting thing because Belair gets the win here in a solid matchup between the two, and it looks like she and Alexa Bliss are the two favorites by far, that nobody really even comes close to them when it comes to who's gonna win the Women's Royal Rumble. She got her promo at the end and it she cut like a very genuine promo, a very realistic promo, talking about, you know, this is the biggest moment of her career in this match, beating Bayley, and then that she's going on to the Royal Rumble and all that. So she seems like, you know, boom, there it is right there. Like, she seems like she's the favorite, and you know, it's between her and Alexa for me. Back and forth I go between the two, but I think right now after this, with Randy Orton being involved with Alexa, she may be the favorite currently. It keeps going back and forth for me between the two, but it was a good spot for Alexa Bliss to kind of push her over the top and really cement her as like a Royal Rumble favorite. Next thing on the show, we had King Corbin going against Dominic Mysterio again from last week. Corbin gets the win again against Dominic Mysterio. At the end, you would have, you know, Ray come in, try to help his son, get attacked by Corbin, but you know, get his revenge a little bit on Corbin, beat him down. All three of these men will be in the Royal Rumble, so we'll see what happens with all that. I kind of want them to have like a decent showing for Dominic and Ray, kind of work together in the Rumble. It'll be pretty cool. Or they can go with the turn. I mean, I do want to see Corbin. I mean, I do want to see Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. They could go with the turn, maybe because his son is currently not listening to him when it comes to Baron Corbin, and it's costing him matches. He's lost twice in a row to Corbin, so maybe that could happen at the Royal Rumble. It would be pretty interesting.
It'd be interesting, especially because like they were coming off that crazy long Seth Rollins thing, and now they're kind of been meandering around. You know, just. I know it's Baron Corbin, but it doesn't really mean anything. It's not really doing anything. So if anything, it'll mean something if they build that storyline. You know, this is like the focal point of it becoming Ray and Dominic. So I think it'd be a nice little transition.
Yeah, you're right about that. The thing, we had a backstage segment with, you know, Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was trying to talk Shinsuke into, like, you know, their past of being like a group with Cesaro, trying to get him to help him out in the Rumble. Shinsuke not having it, so full babyface turn for Shinsuke Nakamura for not telling Sami Zayn to go to hell. In that segment, we also had Big E backstage, talking about. He's talking to Sonya Deville, trying to get his bribe her to get his entrance. See where he comes in at the Royal Rumble. Here comes Miz and Morrison. More people from Monday Night Raw showing up, and Miz and Morrison alluding to the fact that they may cash in on Roman Reigns, the Money in the Bank. So that's pretty interesting, even though he doesn't seem like viable for either title. So I think it'd be a failed attempt either way. They get into a brawl backstage, so that happened. Next thing in the show, we had Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. A final showdown via video, side by side, and I thought this is interesting. I thought it was really, really good. I think it was a tremendous promo by both guys. You have Roman Reigns getting under the skin of Kevin Owens one final time. Poking and prodding him, and Kevin Owens very, very animated and fired up for his match. So he came off very well. Kevin Owens, he's come off very well through this whole entire thing. Also, I thought it was pretty interesting that Kevin Owens called Roman Reigns like a fake mafia boss, because that's what we've been calling him. He's like the Don Falcone of SmackDown right now. So I thought it was a really cool and interesting segment.
Yeah, I thought it was great. They've done, kudos to SmackDown and the crew there. They really built Kevin Owens from being a guy that had a talk show, the KO show on Raw, to being in the main event picture and being viable against the best wrestler on the planet right now, the best thing going in wrestling, Roman Reigns. And they did a great job to make him viable, and he's definitely somebody competitive, and it's great to see Kevin Owens at this level again so soon after he was just meandering around on Raw doing nothing. Aleister Black in those days, that seems like years ago, but that was just months ago. So definitely that's great. The promo was great. Paul Heyman in the back just like going around there. I love the way it ended where Kevin Owens was going crazy. Everyone was, man, screw this, and just turned it off. And I thought it was great. I'm excited for the match. Obviously, I think Roman's we'll talk about it later, but Roman's a favorite. Let's be honest. He's have a great match at the Rumble, and I think moving on to WrestleMania, I'm excited to see where that storyline goes from there.
Yep.
But great segment.
It was a really good segment. Now let's get to the main event. The match that was set up earlier in the night, Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. This match is going to be good no matter what. They've had a long feud previously, and this match was just, up there with the other ones. But you had Cesaro on commentary. You had Sami Zayn come out, and that caused the disqualification. Bryan gets the win by disqualification. Now this is where everything gets kind of wild, right? From there on, you see Big E come out, and he gets one hell of a big boot from Cesaro. I thought this was like a tremendous. When I saw it, I was like, "Holy shit!" That was a really good big boot from Cesaro on Big E. Nakamura comes out, and Cesaro and Nakamura almost come to blows. But, Zayn gets involved there, and it doesn't end up happening. So we probably will see them come to blows at the Royal Rumble. Both guys seem to be going like on a full babyface turn for the most part. And then from there, we got Daniel Bryan and Big E and Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ, Zayn, and Cesaro. Right, Cesaro on the heel team. Even though I think he may turn babyface soon, this was kind of awkward, like the way this all happened. And then you have during the match, all of a sudden, Miz and Morrison arrive to take out Shinsuke Nakamura. They get thrown into the match. Otis gets thrown into the match. He gets put on the babyface side, and then eventually you have Sheamus show up, and he joins the match. Then in the end, it all ends by disqualification. So Big E, Bryan, Nakamura, get the win from the disqualification, and then Sheamus, Big E, Bryan, Nakamura, and Otis will get the win by pinfall. And then you have, which is takeaway number one here, is this man behind us, the return of Braun Strowman. It's a big takeaway, a big return for Braun Strowman. He's been gone for a while, ever since kind of like after Survivor Series, I believe it was. He's been gone for a long time. Looks tremendous, but it's a big wrench to be thrown into the Royal Rumble.
It really is.
So this is obviously all this was the final thing before the Rumble. They get all the guys in the ring, have them beat the living hell out of each other, and one guy stands tall, and that was Braun Strowman standing tall over the top of Cesaro. So he's in the Royal Rumble. We don't think he's a winner by any means, but he's probably gonna have a massive showing in this Rumble, and have the Diesel spot at the Rumble.
Yeah, it was a hodgepodge. This match was all over the place. I hate when people just can come in and then they make a match after a commercial break. I've despised this ever since the start of the pandemic. They've been doing this. It's just been annoying, but whatever. But Braun showing up and just dominating and doing that stuff, it's definitely good to see him back and in somebody that's viable. And I'm excited to see this new Braun. He's got a better look. He's in way better shape. Yep. He's got no shirt. He's coming in like a full monster. I'm excited to see what they do with him. I do like the way that Shinsuke and Cesaro and all these guys are getting pushed and they're getting elevated. I think that's a lot to do with Daniel Bryan being part of the SmackDown crew and just making sure that they're Big E and all these guys are being shown as viable stars and slowly but surely building them and doing a good job of it. Hopefully they continue this path and don't veer off into some strange, stupid Raw things and just keep on doing what they're doing. Slowly but surely build these guys, build the card out. And it's just so good with 2 hours because you have 2 hours to just, tell these good, quick stories and everything's easy and fun and you don't get too convoluted and we have to see a replay of everything that happened 2 hours ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so much better this way. So I'm excited for the match at the Rumble. This thing was kind of a hodgepodge, but I know why they did it, just to get a bunch of people in there and we get to see all the main players at the Royal Rumble. But we'll see what happens. Definitely Braun coming in is definitely quite the huge wrench being thrown in there. But again, it should be interesting Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it definitely should be an interesting Rumble and how it ends up turning out. But guys, that's our only takeaway from the show. Again, a bit of a mixed up segment to end the show, but you know how Royal Rumble is, they like to do that towards the end. Now let's get into our predictions for the Royal Rumble. All right, guys, so in our predictions for the Royal Rumble, the first matchup we have here is the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Sasha Banks, the champion, taking on Carmella in a rematch. I think Sasha Banks still comes out champion here. I think they want to go with, maybe if Bianca wins the Royal Rumble, they want to go with Bianca Sasha at WrestleMania type of thing. The only thing I can see them doing, really, I don't think Carmella's really in the spot right now to take the title from Sasha Banks.
I'm gonna go with Sasha as well. I think she's gonna have a run to Mania and probably drop it to whoever wins the Rumble, whoever that is. Carmella's great. I love her new gimmick. I love the heel look. She's beautiful. She's perfect as she does a great job in this character. But I think they need to build a little bit. Give her more of a path towards the title that makes a little more sense because she just came back and started feuding with the boss. I'm not sure who else on SmackDown she can vibe with because she's a heel and basically all the other women are heel besides Bianca and Sasha. Basically everybody else is a heel, so I don't know. Her and Bayley aren't going to really work, or whoever the hell else is left in the women's division. I think and then Natalia's there. I don't know, but definitely I think Sasha wins it.
Yeah, I think so too. Next thing on the show, we'd have the Women's Tag Team Championship matchup. Asuka and Charlotte, the champions, taking on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. This match has kind of grown, like we got to see it again. But I don't think Nia Jax and Shayna are really going to win this matchup because it really doesn't make much sense for them to win it. They're having a little bit of kind of issues here and there, and it's just Asuka and Charlotte, such like a heavy hitter tag team. That's I see them like I said, I see them mainly focusing on the SmackDown titles. I mean the tag team titles instead of the actual Raw Women's Championship. Again, we can get Alexa versus Asuka, or Asuka could even lose the title at Elimination Chamber beforehand as well, before Mania. So she's not defending the title here. So I think Charlotte and Asuka hold on to the titles and take it into Mania too as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nia and Shayna just because of the fact that I don't think the Asuka Charlotte tag team. I mean, they're a monster. They're a 2-woman power trip. We know that, but they haven't been really together. They haven't had matches together. They haven't defended them. They've been kind of just in their separate little storylines. So I don't know that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And I think it might lead to like them breaking up and maybe them going into the next feud with each other, maybe into Mania or Elimination Chamber, or whatever the case may be. But I think this is where we stop this weird connection of these two powerful women. They're kind of in their separate ways as tag team champions. So I'm giving it to Nia and Shayna.
I could see it happening as well because Charlotte is in that feud with Lacey too as well. So where does all that stuff kind of fit in going forward? Yeah, so it's going on. It's a little bit of a murky situation, but I'm still picking the champions to retain on that one. Next thing on the show will be Universal Championship match, last man standing, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. I just don't think there's any way Roman Reigns loses. I think he gets his ass handed to him completely by Kevin Owens. Maybe somebody else comes out and it gets involved in this matchup. Maybe sets up a Kevin Owens feud for going into Mania. But I just think Roman has to hold on to the title. You can't take it off him right now, unless you want to do like a back and forth Elimination Chamber. Roman gets the title back, something like that. But I don't think they'll go that route. I think they'll just keep the title on Roman because they probably have something big planned for him for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean Roman wins. Let's be serious. I mean, there's not really any question really going into it. Kevin Owens, they've done a great job, like I said earlier, but. Come on, it's Roman Reigns. He's the hottest thing in wrestling. I'm sorry. That's not even close. It's not even close in any company. Sorry, but it's just not.
Yeah, it's not. Next thing, WWE Championship match. The match we're all been groaning about for months, for over a month now, is Drew McIntyre, the champion, taking on Bill Goldberg, the Grim Reaper of professional wrestling. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on Goldberg winning this title here, but I could be wrong. I made that video previously that it could actually happen, so check that one out before the Royal Rumble. You know, but I just think Drew McIntyre's got to hold on to this title. I don't see any other way around it. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger with Goldberg. I think they brought Goldberg in just for this one match maybe, or even a Mania match maybe against somebody else. But yeah, I just think Drew McIntyre holds on.
If Goldberg wins this match, I mean, I'm viable to never watch wrestling again, just because we do not need to see a 55-year-old man go out there and beat the biggest guy, the best baby face in the company, the guy that they're gonna put this, you know, they put the rocker ship on for last year, and we're gonna lose to Goldberg. Well, so you can drop it at Elimination Chamber. None of it makes any sense. Just get him out of the way.
Yep.
Put Claymore him into retirement. Goldberg, you were cool in 1998, but that's 21 years ago, 22 years ago. Just move on. Just move on. That's it. Drew McIntyre wins a match. Has to. I think the internet will explode if Goldberg wins. It'll be ridiculous. It'll be like the biggest thing on earth.
Yeah, hopefully Drew McIntyre holds on. Hopefully he can will that into existence. You never know with WWE.
Jesus.
It could end up happening with Goldberg as a winner.
Especially with the Raw writing crew, whatever the frick they're doing.
Yeah, it could be also that Goldberg loses and gets in the Rumble match as well. Let's get to the Rumble matches. The 30 women Rumble match. Yeah, let's just pick our winner straight out of the gate. After Friday Night Smackdown, I think Bianca Belair is the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, and she will go on to face Sasha Banks at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I think it's either between her and Alexa, and I'm going to give the edge just a little bit to Bianca Belair because of the issues between Alexa and Randy. I do think Alexa will eventually be Raw Women's Champion. Like I said, maybe at the Elimination Chamber, or maybe she just gets a matchup anyways against Asuka at WrestleMania. But I think that's inevitable that she'll win the title. But for now, I just think after SmackDown, Bianca Belair wins the Women's Royal Rumble.
I'm gonna go with Alexa. This is probably this is definitely a 2-horse race.
Yeah,
I think it's the first year of the Women's Rumble that you can just be like anybody that, you know, before you'd be like anybody could win. Now it's like there's probably 2 girls that make any sense. Could they go with a curveball and throw some, you know, like a Ruby Riott or whatever, Lacey Evans? They could, but I highly doubt it. I think she's gonna go full Harley Quinn, Alexa, and just, you know, destroy everybody, do her little crazy Matrix moves, you know, she's blocking everything, and then like she's like, it, you know, just Super Saiyan and do whatever she wants. I think that's what they're gonna do. I think that's what they've been building her up over the last weeks. I don't think Randy's gonna get involved in this one. I think she wins and she goes to Mania and she becomes champion. That's my prediction.
Yeah, it is a 2-woman race at this point. I believe they announced that Rhea Ripley will be in the Royal Rumble as well. She'll probably be one of the final 4 in there, most likely, but I don't think she's going to win it. I think it's between those 2 women. So let's get to the men's Royal Rumble, the final matchup. It's the 30-man Royal Rumble match. I think the winner of this matchup, even though we haven't seen him in 2 weeks, God knows where he's been. Keith Lee, he was my favorite going back when I made the prediction video, you know, earlier this month. He was my favorite. I kind of felt like Edge was kind of over, you know, kind of leaping over him a little bit, especially when he announced that he's in the Rumble and he's making his return. But I still got to go with the guy I picked from the start, Keith Lee. I'm riding him all the way through because I see Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre being a big match at WrestleMania. A lot of things can happen. It's probably one of the most unpredictable Royal Rumbles we've had in a while. And yeah, I'm just gonna go with the guy that I started with from the start. You know, gotta fall back on that one. So Keith Lee for me.
I think I'm gonna go. I was going back and forth between Edge, but I think I'm gonna go crazy and just go wild. I'm gonna say Bray Wyatt's gonna win the Rumble. I think he's gonna come back as a Fiend out of nowhere and just he's gonna turn dark. He's gonna be in there. It's gonna be him and Randy, probably like last 2 or one of like the last 3 with somebody. Maybe Edge, Randy, Bray. The Fiend to end it. I think Fiend just wins it, and we have the crazy couple are the 2 victors of the Rumble. That's how I feel like it's gonna come. I feel like that could be the crazy end, the sadistic end, and the dark, crazy world of the Firefly Funhouse. I think that'd be pretty interesting going forward. I don't know how it would vibe with Randy and Drew and all that stuff, but whatever. Just do it. I think it should do it. Why not? Let's have fun.
It'd be pretty interesting if that was the ending with the 2 kind of like holding down the Rumble matches, Alexa and Bray Wyatt. I do think the Fiend is like a guarantee to show up here at least to like probably eliminate Randy. Or the only thing I can see in your sense is like saying that he wins is that, you know, there's an entrant that never shows up and then Randy's the last guy, thinks he won it, but like the last entrant never really showed up, one of the entrants, and ends up being the Fiend and eliminates him that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because him being in the match like long doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Yeah.
Like he's not gonna go coast to coast like Shawn Michaels or something, but I think he'll definitely go in there maybe 28, 30, something like that. Just kind of randomly come in when people aren't expecting it, and I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be interesting. I think you've been building these two stars in this build for months and months now. I think it's time to put them in the spotlight and put the rocker straps on them and make it an interesting storyline. I think it'd be fun. Now, there's a lot going in, and all with Alexa and Bray and Randy and Drew and all that stuff will be going in. But whatever, let's have a good time. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it could be all interesting stuff, but it's one of the more unpredictable years for the Royal Rumble. But that's our predictions for the Royal Rumble and our takeaway from SmackDown, the go-home episode of SmackDown. Yeah, big show coming up. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember to comment on who you think is winning the Royal Rumble matches as a whole, and anything, maybe surprises you guys think might happen. Let us know in the comment section below. And that's pretty much the video we have for you guys. If it doesn't work for you, not do the job.
Royal Rumble later, Marks.